Welcome everyone to our health implementation class. Can I just say a whoop whoop? Just that felt very flat there. A whoop whoop for coming through behaviour. Diana, I know that you oh, here's Norma now. Great stuff. Let me see if I can bring more enthusiasm to the second attempt at the whoop whoop when Norma's here. And I realised this morning, Adele, that I forgot to celebrate your case study, your first case study coming. I usually do celebration for everybody's first case study. And I realised this morning that I forgot to do yours. So, Norma, you just missed my very I don't know what to call it. I just didn't land the way I'd wanted to. And I was saying, I just want to do a big whoop whoop for everybody coming through behaviour and moving into health. And at that point, you came in. So well done, everyone. So today we're looking at health, and we're moving into the health and well-being category of our work. So I don't want anybody to panic and worry that they haven't read through anything or they haven't watched all the videos or that you don't like that's not how we rock and roll here. I wanted you to be able to come to this class not feeling too overwhelmed with everything so that we could just do some hands-on practice because that's the best way to learn. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So the training videos that are the most important ones for you to have watched are staying out of Vetland and what body scanning is and isn't. So if anybody's watched them, extra brownie points to you. If you've got questions, we'll do that in the first 10 minutes. And then and if you haven't watched them yet, that's okay too. And then we'll move into the implementation part of the class, and I'll leave 5 to 10 minutes at the end in case any questions has come out of that part. So does anybody have any questions about any of the if you've managed to watch anything? I don't expect you to have watched, certainly do not expect you to watch everything, but did anybody watch the staying out of Vetland or what body scanning is and isn't? Do you have any questions? Yep, so just unmute yourself and ask away.
I have a question. I've been wanting to ask it for a few weeks and it's kind of related. So it's come up a couple times now where I I find myself explaining to the animal what happens when their soul leaves. This brought up an ethical question for me because
Okay.
I understand that those are my beliefs. And I was wondering if what your thoughts are on this, especially moving into health in terms of explaining that to an animal, but it might not line up with what their guardian believes.
That's a really good question. Give me 1 second. I'm just stretching over to get something. Um, so what I want to ask you first, Shayla, is what is your belief system?
That the soul leaves when it's ready for the next experience and it may come back many times, that you're possibly even the creator of your next experience. And I told one that whatever their most funnest playtime was, it's probably that times 100. It's a very happy place.
And what's
And
wrong with that? What's wrong with you sharing that as it is?
right, for me, nothing. I felt like it helped with a lot of the fear for the animal, but I was worried if I ever had to put this in a transcribe, if the guardian sort of like, I don't know if that would ever bring up ethical issue of me explaining something, kind of like if someone had a child and
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
explained
yeah.
to them something about religion or something, and that's not how their parents.
So remember the core instruction throughout this whole program is we state facts, we don't make facts. So in a situation like this, that's what you want to lean into. So what you're saying here is it's my belief
Mm,
that that happens. That may differ from your guardian's belief.
mhm.
And I know that other people have different views from me. And this is just how I would say it. I would say this is what I believe to be true. And that's based on speaking to people that know more about this other world than I do. But I am aware that there are lots of people in the world that have very different beliefs, and your guardians might have very different beliefs. Would you like me to share with you what I believe will happen? And then when you do it in that way, you're honoring that the guardian might have a different view, but you're also asking the animal if they want to hear it.
Mm.
But then if the guardian's not happy with it, so they ask, like they asked me to tell them. So it's not like you've imposed it upon them.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes, yes. Just do
And
check-ins
that
in.
that will come in more, it may come in health, but it'll probably come in more at transition when you're working with animals preparing or potentially preparing to transition. So it may come up here because you might be working with a health case where they are at the end of their life. But I would guess that it would probably show up more in the transition area of work. But that's how I would deal with it. Own it as your view, accept and honour that there are other views out there and their guardians might align with the other views. But you can bring that clever piece in by saying, I've got some views on what, especially if they're asking, like, what happens? Then you can say, well, I've got my views on it. Would you like me to share them with you? And then
Mm.
you've not imposed anything.
Okay, that makes
That's how I would do that. It's more of a quite a moral one, that isn't it? It's absolutely right. It's like telling somebody's child something, and I'm like, what?
right. And the animal is afraid of what happened next.
Right, there
And
you go. There you go. So you want to reassure them. That's your job.
okay, that thank you very much.
So if that was that they were scared, then
Hmm.
in the transcribe, I would be making sure that it said something like, I hear that you're really scared about that. Would it be helpful for you if I could reassure you with what my views are about what happens?
Mm.
So then you're honouring the animal's fear. So if they're reading the transcribe, they're seeing that even though you've not imposed it, but you have offered it, but you're offering it because they're scared and because you want to reassure them. And then
Mm.
that's just much harder to argue with, even if you are at odds with what happens. And then you
Mhm.
can just say, well, you tell them what your beliefs are then. Bash on. Best of luck when you don't know how to communicate. But hey, oh, I was just doing my best. No, I'm only kidding. You know what I mean? You can say, like, would you like me to share with them what your views are? That's how you would do that.
Mhm.
If I can see that this is really important, if you're getting that, I can see
Mhm.
it's really important for you that your views are heard around this. Would you like me to go back and tell your cat, rabbit, whatever, what your views are? You could do
Mm.
that.
Okay.
You just want to keep your clients happy, because you're that's only if you're open to feedback. Um, I don't know why this is here. I should just shut up and move on. But something happened to me today. If you want to hear it, just raise a hand. If you want to get on with the health, just do nothing. But I fell out not once but twice with a solicitor today. So one hand, that's enough for me to keep going, folks. Sorry. One hand up's enough for me to keep going with my story. So thank you, Dale. Two hands up. So my mum is moving house and I'm her person that's dealing with all of that. And things are not moving as they should be. And I know I've heard through the grapevine that an offer was put out from my mum's house last week. A week tomorrow, the solicitor received it, but the solicitor has never said to my mum that an offer's been put on the house. So I had phoned them up to question this. And the long and the short of it is, without getting into all the detail of it, the long and the short of it is that they've just behaved horrifically. And they said, oh, but this letter we sent to your mum, that triggers the process. And I said, okay, you know that it triggers the selling process, but your client doesn't. There's nothing in the letter that said you've had an offer. She still doesn't know that an offer's been made on her home. And that's been a week. And you're sending out the terms of business, which she's already signed off on. You send out the terms of business, triggers your system that there's now an offer on the table, but there's nothing being said to your client about that. And now my mum's worried, upset, and because the solicitor phoned my mum, or my mum phoned the solicitor direct yesterday. So anyway, she said to me something like, right, I'll pass your information on. And then she said, and I'm not accountable for what somebody else has said. And I don't raise my voice at people. It's not how I am. It's not how I operate. I don't like falling out with people, so I'm not going to pick an argument for the sake of it. And I said to her, look, can I just say, if this is feeling personal to you, because I knew she was being defensive, if this is feeling personal to you or to the other solicitor that's involved, please know that that's not where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a place of, this is what your client experience is like, and it's not been good. So this is actually really a beautiful opportunity for you to make some changes when you send out the terms, just to change the cover letter to let them know that, because she said that they were really busy and other work was prioritized. So you just let your client know, like, that's all you need to do. So she basically said, because this went on, she said, I'm just going to take this call to an end. We're going round in circles. I said, I don't think we are going round in circles. I don't think you're hearing what I'm saying here. And it's not at you, it's not at the other solicitor. Take it to your HR department, take it to your senior partner, take it to wherever it needs to go. This is meant to be constructive feedback for you. And I'm truly believing that that would be helpful. So the call ended not very nicely. And I just thought, I need to get a different solicitor for my mum. Like, I didn't have enough to do today. So managed to get another, I phoned my daughter who's just sold her house. And I said, what's your solicitor like? She went, oh, she's amazing. And I was like, right, let's see if we can get this moving for my mum. But if it was going to slow the process down, I know that my mum would have just wanted to stay there. So anyway, phoned the solicitor back, because what the new solicitor said was they may charge you for the work that they've undertaken already. What my mum, God love her, who needs every penny she can get for this house move, she said, I don't care. She said, I don't care. I just don't want to have to deal with them. The person I spoke to this morning was really horrible. My mum was in tears. My mum's not an easy person to make cry. So I thought, right, I'm going to phone rather than email. I had planned to email to say we're withdrawing our custom and we don't want you to represent us anymore. And I thought, right, but if they're now going to start doing stuff because I've been on the phone this morning, they can pretend they didn't get the email, and then my poor mum's going to be billed and she would pay it. So I thought, right, I'll phone. I was not comfortable phoning at all, but I made the phone call, and I said to the woman, firstly, can I apologise for our earlier call this morning? If you felt that that was directed at you or was personal to you, it absolutely wasn't. That was not my intention. And she said, okay, thank you. Thanks for your apology. I said, and just want to inform you that we'll be removing ourselves from your services. As you know from our call this morning, not at all happy how things have gone around. And she said, I'm not getting into that conversation again. Like, I wasn't intending to get into that conversation again. I'm just outlining that we had a conversation this morning. That's the reason. I'm just letting you know the reason why we're not staying. Because what I'd said in the morning was, this could be the difference between you keeping a client or losing a client. Because by this time, I was already thinking, I don't want to stay here. I don't want my mum staying here. So I'd already said in the morning, this could be the difference. So I hope this is helpful. So anyway, we're now this afternoon, and she said, I'm not getting into that again with you. I said, well, don't need to get into it. I'm just being clear that that's the reason why we're no longer using your services. I said, and in the effort of being really helpful and constructive, I really think that this is powerful feedback for you, because just making some minor changes, because she'd said why it hadn't happened. And I said, well, that means you're not prepared. You don't have a policy for that. So all you need to do is just create a new policy, and then it never happens to anybody again. So I'd said to her, I think this is a really good opportunity to get some feedback from your client customer experience. She said to me, not once, not twice, but 3 times in slightly different ways. She said, we do not take instruction from our customers how to run our business. My jaw was on the floor. My jaw was on the floor. I was like, am I hearing this? like, this is a company, a business. And I said, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your business. I'm just letting you know what our customer experience was like. And I'm genuinely sharing this with you in the interest of it being constructive feedback for you. And so she said a second time that that's a very similar thing. You know, we don't take instruction from our clients. We decide how we're running our business. And then I just said to her, do you know what? You've lost a client. You've lost a client here. Do you not see that you've lost a client? And this might help you retain future clients. So she said a third time, and I just said, okay, thanks very much. Goodbye. And that was the end of the call. So I'm sharing that with you because you must have said something there about feedback, because it's about being open to feedback. I've lost my own train of thought there, Sheila. Was it about feedback? What was your, oh my God, I've totally lost my train of thought there, where that was connected to what you were saying. So
We're
remind me.
talking about checking in and getting permission and
Yes, yes, yes. Checking in. Yeah. So this is how you, if people are at odds with you, people are at odds with you, then you just want to tick all your boxes that you've not put something on somebody, that you've asked their permission, and you can do that with the client. And I think it was where when things are at odds, I think that's where that came in. But can you believe that? Can you believe that a company would have that response to a piece? And I wasn't shouting. That's what I said to her on the second call. I said, I'm not complaining. This is not me putting a complaint in. I said, I was complaining this morning. I said, this is not me putting a complaint in. This is meant to be genuine and genuine interest of helping you. So what my daughter did was she let her solicitor, the new solicitor from my mum, said, can I ask where you've come from? And when we said where we come from, she just laughed. And she said, oh, I'm not surprised you're moving. I was like, right, okay. So do you not think even more that they would want the feedback? So this is also for all of you with your feedback. Okay. So when you get feedback from your clients, two things. Feedback is feedback is feedback. It's just feedback. You don't need to take it personally. So I want you to be open to the process. You saw there a practice of solicitors that were not open to feedback. They're clearly losing clients left, right, and centre, but they weren't open to the feedback. So they're not making improvements. So I'm sharing this with you from that angle as well. Be open to the feedback that you're receiving, because it will help you do things differently, do things better. And especially if something hasn't gone well, it allows you to make sure that doesn't ever go wrong for your future clients. That said, feedback is feedback is feedback. It's all it is. It's neutral. It's one person's view and opinion. You do not need to agree with it. It doesn't mean that it's fact. It doesn't mean that it's the truth. All it means is that it's that person's truth. So it's the two things. And I know they sound kind of counter opposites, but they both have their place. I want you to be open to the feedback. If it feels personal, it's like what we were saying earlier in the accountability call with Adele. If it feels personal, it's because something's been triggered. Something's been triggered in you, but the feedback itself is just somebody's opinion about what you've done. It doesn't mean it's fact. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean you need to go and change a whole thing because of one person's feedback. But that feedback might be something that you do want to act upon, but you can also choose not to act upon the feedback as well. So is that making sense? Just don't do what those solicitors did. We are not taking instructions from our customers how to run our business. Really? You've got a customer that's so unhappy that we're leaving. So don't do the solicitor thing. Don't do the solicitor thing. Be open to the feedback, but also just remember it's just feedback. It's just feedback. And even with the solicitors, if they'd taken the feedback, they could have decided that they weren't going to change anything. And providing that's an informed decision, then that's up to them. But don't, if you feel it's personal, if you feel personally wounded by it, it's because it's triggered a wound already in you. That's what happens with the feedback. They've triggered a wound. So Adele, I'm not going to get into this here. I'm going to take an educated guess at what might have been going on for you, and it might be accurate, it might not be accurate. But I'm guessing that when they blamed you for the, for everything being wrong, etc., that would have triggered something in you around your commitment and your dedication to helping animals. So that's why it would have wounded you, because it's like, oh, that's the very opposite of what I've set out to do with this work. So that part would have been activated. So when we feel the feedback really personally, it's because we're wounded. I remember somebody emailing me. Oh, this is quite a few years ago now. Like, we measure everything by lockdown, don't we? So way before lockdown, somebody emailed me and oh gosh, let me plug my battery in. I thought I'd already done that. So sorry, I thought I'd done that at the accountability call because I knew we had back-to-back calls. So somebody thought it was okay, permissible to email me a really horrible, nasty email, calling me a fraud, saying that I was a charlatan, and as a teacher, not as an animal communicator, that I was a fraud, charlatan, a whole host of really horrible things. And Louise is very difficult to offend. And she messaged me and she said, Sergey, just don't open that email until you've got a glass of wine. Like, just don't look at it. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is I knew that it wasn't true. I knew it wasn't true. But one of my things that I was still working through at that time was the whole imposter syndrome, that whole thing about being a fraud, about, am I, have I just got here by accident? I don't know. Do any of you have that? So that's been one of the big things that I've had to work through. So I was still working through the last kind of elements of that. So when they wrote, you're a fraud, that got me right there, because that's the piece that I was working with. So I was really upset, but I mean, I probably would have been upset by the email anyway, even if you hadn't said fraud, because some of the stuff was really vile. But that was me being triggered because it hit a wound that I already had, and that's the piece that I'm trying to share. Is that making sense? Their words cannot wound you unless you let them. Their words cannot wound you unless they're tapping into a wound that's already there. It's like picking the scab off something, and that's what that was like for me. It's like picking the scab off the imposter syndrome. Thought I'd worked through that. Still another layer for me to go. So I was able to come through that and then get to a place of, right, this is a gift. It's another gift, because I'm not done with that imposter piece. I need to do some more work there. So just remember that about feedback too. Just remember that too, that if you are triggered or upset or feel it really personal, then it's just tapping into something that's already there, because people's words, they do hurt, but they don't actually have power to hurt us unless we let them, or they've gone into something that we already have there. Is that making sense? Yeah, okay. Right, so let's dive into today's class, which is all about body scanning. So there are 4 body scanning techniques that I teach you. There are more than 4 ways to body scan. Most teachers, from people that have come onto my program that have trained elsewhere, most people teach you how to merge energy with another living being. So that is one of the ones that I teach as well. That's called the 2 becomes 1. But you can body scan in any way that feels right and good for you. There's no right or wrong way. What I suggest that you do is that you practice with the 4 techniques. When you go to the video that says body scanning techniques, I talk you through them in the video, but if you scroll down to the lesson files, you can print each of them out. So they're all written out for you, and you can print them out and have a look and you'll see which ones you want to play with. But I invite you to experiment. It's just an experiment. That's all it is. It's an experiment. Does this way work for me? No, it doesn't. I hate it. Don't like it. Didn't get any results. Let me try this way. And maybe one way works for you just now and it changes in the future. So I want you also to be open to the way you body scanning changing and evolving as you as a practitioner changes and evolves. Because as you change and you evolve how you do this work, then that remember, nothing discriminates. That's going to show up everywhere. So it might show up in your body scanning as well. I used to always do 2 becomes 1. That was the way I've always body scanned for years and years and years, probably a good decade. And that's not what I do anymore. I'm just like, okay, what's going on? It's like zip over here, zip over there, zip over there. Okay, is that it? Right, 3 things done. So there's no right or wrong way. You might do 2 things together. You might do the movie star. If you're clairvoyant and you've got good images, you might get them to show you in a movie how their body's moving, not moving, where their body's sore. And that's a great way to really practice your x-ray vision. So you can literally go in like an x-ray machine and scan through the body. So you might have that, but you might also have some claircognizance coming in and saying, oh, I just know that it's this. So just know that they don't, the four ways that I teach you, there are more than 4 ways. You might have a 5th way, a 6th way, or a 7th way to do this work. But they also stand alone, but they could also blend as well. So I just want you to know that I want you to be open to being whatever it is for you. Not the last intake, maybe about 3-4 intakes ago, there was a girl that said she could not body scan. And we were here in this class and she got all the symptoms of her partner done. And I said to her, I thought you said you couldn't body scan. And she said, but it was a bit like Christina, because she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Remember when Christina just joined the program, said she didn't understand how she was communicating. And so that was the same for this woman. She just didn't know how she was getting the results. So just know that you might have a completely different way to do it, and that's okay. You know, in this program, you do not need to fit into the boxes of these 4 body scanning techniques. If you've got a different version, then if it works, and that's your version. So what we're going to do today is, does anyone have any questions about that before we move on to the next bit? No? Okay. So what we're going to do today is we are going to practice body scanning, and you are going to get yourself nice and relaxed, and you're going to have full focus on the screen, and you're going to body scan me. Okay. I don't know what Sheila's face says. I don't know what that means. I'll just take it as, oh shit. So listen, as I said before, completely experimental, and it doesn't matter if you don't get anything. If you don't get anything, you're just looking at the clock and saying 5:30. Tuesday night is not a good time for me to do body scanning. That's all it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move myself around a little bit so you can't really see much more of me, but it doesn't matter because you don't need to see the whole body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through grounding, quick grounding, and we're only going to be doing this for 10 minutes. It's not long. And then I'm going to invite you to do the 2 becomes 1 exercise, which is where you take your energy and you just collapse it into a small beam of light. I like to be a fairy. That's what I like to do. Like Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, Kylie Minogue in the movie, super sexy fairy. That's me. And through the top of the animal's head and scoot down through the body. So that's how I'm setting it up for you. But if you just want to see where you're drawn, or just see if your claircognizance kicks in. So Alison, you've got really strong claircognizance. So just see how that works for you. And if it works tonight, great. And if it doesn't, great. It doesn't mean your claircognizance doesn't work. It just means it's maybe not working tonight at this time. So I really do invite you just to play. This is our play time. This is not pressure. It's just what works today in this moment and what doesn't. So I will invite you to shrink your energy to a small, minuscule beam of light, and then you will come out the top of your head, and then you'll hop across to the top of my head. And then you'll just systematically go down through the head, the ears, the eyes, neck, shoulders, chest, back, hips, legs, knees, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet. You might not get to the feet, and that's okay. So that's the process that you're going to go through. But if you choose to do it a different way, then just do it that way too. I will just take you to the point of connection and then invite you to shrink your consciousness into a small beam of light. And if you're using that technique, pop out the top of your head, across to mine, and then I'm just going to let you go. So I'm not going to be talking you through every single part of the body. So just go at the speed that feels right for you. And if you're drawn to doing something else, then do your something else. Is that clear? Shiny like crystal? Good, good, good. Okay, so just close your eyes, relax, and roll your shoulders back. Yawn if you can or need to. Oh, nice way to loosen all the facial muscles and just do a little bit more releasing. So I just invite you to imagine that beautiful orb of bright white light shining high above your head. And on your next in-breath, you're bringing that light down through the top of your head, down through your whole body, out through the soles of your feet, where it exits your body and travels down, 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 all the way down to the center of the earth, wrapping around that beautiful Mother Earth crystal. And you can make that crystal whatever color you like today. Have it gold, have it blue, have it red, have it brown, have it Spanish red, whatever you like. You're just noticing and taking your attention to that earth energy, that Mother Earth energy. In your next in-breath, you're drawing that all the way up, 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 up through the layers of the earth, up through soles of your feet into your body, up your legs, your trunk, down your arms, up your throat, through your head, when it leaves and makes its way up to the white light. And then I just want you to take a moment to see, feel, notice, intend, or pretend that these two sources of light are traveling simultaneously up and down your body. On your next in-breath, you're drawing both into your heart space, creating that beautiful colour of pink. Whatever colours you've worked with, does not matter. It's creating that pink energy in your heart space, pure love. Send that energy from your heart to mine, creating that bridge of connection. Now here's a thought for you. You might just want to step onto the bridge and be on the bridge and see what happens. Or you might want to shrink your consciousness. So you're just setting the intention that you're shrinking that energetic part of you into the tiniest beam of light. And if you're choosing that option, just see that beam of light hop out the top of your head and travel across to the top of my head, where it drops down into my system through the crown chakra. Now in this moment, both our energies are merged. You're actually in two places at once. So record everything, discount nothing. And if you're choosing to do this exercise in a different way, then do it in whatever way feels best and right for you. You might just want to ask my body to take you to where the energy is not flowing as well as it could, or to ask my body to take you to any areas of pain or discomfort. If you're used to working with energy with your hand, you might want to just scan your hand over the Zoom screen down. And even though you can only kind of see down to my waist, you can just imagine that you're scanning down the rest of my body. So there's all these different ways to do it. So just enjoy the process. And remember, you can ask questions as well. So you can be asking investigative questions if you come up against something. So just treat it as if you were doing an animal communication consultation. So communicate with my energy field in the same way that you would with an animal. So just a couple of minutes more. So if you haven't already, if you're working systematically through the body, just I would encourage you to move down into the hips and legs if you haven't done that already. And if you're working in a different way, then that's okay. Just do what you're doing. You're starting to wind up now, so you want to finish what you're doing and then just give thanks to the energy. And then if you use the beam of light exercise, you want to hop back out, top of my head and back across to your head, and really feel yourself landing when you bring that consciousness back into your own system. Really feel that land in your body. And then wrap yourself, myself, in 2 different bubbles of light. And if you're using any other style of body scanning, just come back off the bridge, see the bridge, disconnect, and then wrap yourself in a bubble of light and wrap my body in a bubble of light too. Okay. So how did that go, everyone? I've seen some of the faces. Remember, it's playtime. It's an experiment. We're all in the playground of body scanning. That's all we're doing right now. It's just the playground. It's just the playground. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do round robin. And Alison, you're at the top of the screen. Sorry, my lovely, if that fills you with horror. It's Alison, then it's Shayla, then it's Adele, then it's Diana, then it's Norma. And please know that it's absolutely okay if you didn't get anything. Like it's all right. It's all right. And what I want you to do is I want you to share with me what you got. What we'll do is we'll start with one piece each, because I don't think I've got enough ailments to let you all reel them off and then still have space for somebody else. So we'll do one piece each. We'll do a one complete round robin of that, maybe 2, and then we'll just do a free for all, just so that people have got the opportunity to bring something in. Or do you just want to volunteer it? What would you prefer? So give me a hands up if you want me to go round the way I normally do, or would you prefer if you just volunteered it, like whoever's ready? Is that I've got my one hands round robin. Is everybody okay with just doing the round robin? Yeah, okay. Right, Alison. And then tell me how it came to you. That's the most important thing. So I want you to tell me one thing that you got and how did it come to you?
I had a feeling in my inside of my left foot.
Okay, and what was the feeling?
Just vibrational sort of feeling.
Now, I am going to be hard on you all because that's what you're here for. Don't think, shit, I never asked. Just know, oh, next time I need to ask. That's all. That's all. So that's for everybody. So left foot vibrational feeling. Okay, thank you. And you just got the feeling. That's how that came
Just got
to
the
you.
feeling, physical feeling.
Okay, thank you. And Shayla?
I was first drawn to the right shoulder blade in the back around that area. And it felt like, yeah, I was drawn to it in my visuals, and it felt like just a pressure, which was more like showing me something. I don't know if that was a physical mirror.
So when you said drawn to it in my visuals, did that mean that you saw it pictorially and you felt drawn to there, or were you drawn in an energetic way and then saw a picture.
Yeah, energetic, and then saw like a red dot, like a target there.
Right. So when I'm just being super picky, when you say I was drawn to it in my visuals, that would imply that you had the visuals and then you were drawn. So just being really clear on how that came through. So that was actually an energetic pull, and then you got the visual. Yeah.
Yes.
And a red spot, did you say? I'm seeing like you know, when you watch movies and they've got the guns and there's like the red spots trained on you. Boom, that's how I'm seeing that. I'll never forget that now. That's imprinted in my brain. Thank you. Adele, how did you get on, my lovely? If you unmute yourself,
That might help.
it does a little, doesn't it?
I was drawn to your knees, and I picked up that you haven't been doing your walking like you normally do. Things haven't been normal. There's other things, and you haven't been walking in nature, so they feel very stiff.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you, you said you were drawn to, so how did that actually play out for you?
Well, I start with your head, and then it draw me to various parts of the body. I'm just picking your knees as
right. Got you. So you did the two becomes one.
No, I don't like doing that. I just go. So
you just did it systematically from the head, right?
Yeah.
And then you got some other stuff, but the knees is what you're sharing here, right? Got you.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. I'll share the others in a minute because they're all connected.
And then you said, I got the impression that you're not walking like normal, like you're walking daily walking practice as normal, and you're not walking in nature. How did that come through to you?
I saw a picture. Funny enough, I saw one Facebook when you were walking in nature and you were talking in the morning, and it came up, she's not doing this.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. Diana?
I wouldn't really trust anything I got at the minute, to be honest.
I totally understand. You said in the earlier call about your your concentration. Do you want to give it a go or not? You're more than welcome to.
I was drawn instinctively to your shoulders, probably the left more than the right, and it maybe felt like there was sort of tension carried there.
And when you say drawn to, how did that show up for you, Diana?
Oh, it just comes in. It's not a melding and merging.
So the shoulders, did that just come into you rather than you being pulled across to the shoulders? Is that how that worked?
Yeah, and I haven't got anything in mind at the minute, so that would be the one that was reasonably reliable.
That's a good shout. I like that one. Perfect. Thank you very much, Norma.
Okay, I physically felt pressure on the bridge of my nose.
Okay, and you felt that in your own body? Yep. Thank you. Alison, do you have anything else that you want to share?
Loads.
Pick the next one on the list then.
Well, I think I'll just want to agree with Sheila, because I literally got a pain in my right shoulder blade that was like a spot, if that makes sense. It was like a and tension. But then going on from there, I then felt like a pulse going through my neck from there to there.
So at the front of the throat?
Yeah, from my left hand side there, going straight to the middle. And that was a physical feeling.
Okay. Thank you for that. I'm getting the right treatment here, eh? Sheila?
Yes, the next thing I got. So I'll go to this was visual, and it was in your chest area. It felt like heart area, and I saw like what looked like rivers of blue. But then in the distance there was a thundercloud.
Did you say ribbons or rivers?
River. It felt like a river
A
of
river.
blue.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All felt symbolic.
Yeah. And then a
Um,
thundercloud in the distance.
uh-huh.
Okay. Thank
Felt
you.
as if it was, oh,
No, carry on. It felt like.
I was inquiring, what is this about? And it felt as if there was something brewing or something that had just passed.
Ah, okay.
It reminded me of a peaceful ocean in the middle of an ending storm, or it was odd.
Yeah.
I've not seen a visual like that.
So this is really important for you because what we're really seeing in your work is your symbology starting to come through. And this is more evidence of your symbology. So you just frame it to your client in that way. This felt, like it was a metaphor for something.
Okay.
So well done. Well done. Thank you. Adele.
Stomach. It's like the feeling that you've been eating different food than you normally do. I just pick up your routine the last few weeks have been completely thrown out. You haven't been doing anything you normally or you practice or you should be doing, relaxing or anything, and it's got the toll on your body and your stomach. And I felt it in the stomach, like when whether you had takeaways or food that you don't eat, it's not landed on your stomach. It's bulking. It don't feel comfortable.
Okay, and how did you experience that in your own body? How did that information come to you?
I felt it in my stomach. I feel it now.
You
Yeah, in my
physically
stomach.
felt it. Okay.
Yeah. And also, I felt it, and like my eyes had sort of like the stomach come up drawn to the eye, and I feel it myself.
Okay. Thank you. Diana, anything else you want to share?
Yeah, lower abdomen, probably more on the left side.
And how did that come through to you? Is it that same drawing you were drawn there?
Yeah,
Sensation?
yeah.
And did you pick up what was going on in that lower abdomen area? Did anything come through, or did you get a sense of anything?
It felt to me like I used to feel when I got hormonal stuff going on.
Okay, thank you. Norma?
I'm still in the head.
You're still in the head.
So the pressure on the bridge of the nose went to the what's that, like the eye sockets, the top here, and my top teeth, they didn't hurt, but it felt, when you have sensitive gums or you're brushing your teeth and you have to use a special sensitive toothbrush because, there was a sensitivity. So from the eye socket, I guess, that sort of bone area there and the gums. So there was the pressure from the nose continued along the eye socket. But when it got to the teeth, the top teeth, and it wasn't all the teeth, it was sort of, I suppose, to your incisors. It became sensitive.
Okay, Thank you. Alison.
God.
Loads.
Got loads. I agree with Diana. Left-hand side lower abdomen. That was a pain. And also, should I just carry on?
Yeah.
Felt like I got mucus on your chest. That was just a knowing, I think.
Okay. Thank you. Sheila?
I will go with something Adele said. This also I saw as a color, and it looked like green in your lower belly area. And as I inquired more, it it did remind me of mucus as well, but it was green. It looked like a racetrack, and things were just
Wow, I'm loving your symbology. Like, seriously. Like, from a teacher perspective, I'm completely geeking out on these images that you're getting and what they what they mean. Okay, and because Adele's said about what she'd intuited around the stomach, and that probably makes sense with the racetrack. So what you want to remember for future clients is if you're just sitting with the racetrack, remember what it meant in this moment. And then you can say to your client, if there's like, oh, I haven't got a clue what that means, then you can say, I remember working with a client. You don't need to say it was here in the practice group. You say, I remember working with a client and this same image came up and this is what it represented for them. Does that resonate with you? And it just helps your client think outside the box a little bit as well. But I'm loving how your symbology is coming up. Great stuff. Thank you.
Decoding, it's difficult.
Yeah, you're creating you want to have a log for your symbols and what they mean for you. That's exciting. Adele.
I just called the ambulance for you because you sound like you need to go to hospital. God, so much.
Are you thinking, oh my God, I didn't think we'd be here this long? Did you have anything else, or is that you caught up?
Yes, I have. I've got you spent too much time indoors. You've been cropped up. You need some fresh air. You can't breathe. You got a headache, and you need to get out. And you need freedom to be free.
Right, she's getting banned from the classes. You're just exposing all my stuff for the whole world to see. Right, and how did you get that information? Did you just know it, or how did that come through?
Knowing, seeing you cropped up, see where you should be. Heavy on the can't breathing, visual. I think
So
I get.
You're really using all of your animal communication tools together. So I want you to remember this when you do body scanning, that you're using everything together, and I'm really picking on you all so that I can see and extract where it's coming from, so I can help you understand how you get the information. So you're just using everything. Sounds like everything's all showing up at the one time for you. Okay, thank you, but not thank you. No. Diana.
No, that was it. That's me done, I'm afraid.
Well done. Norma.
My last one, on my left temple here, a pain, and I felt it, but it was also a finger pressing on the temple. So it was that pain.
And did you feel that, see that? How did that come through?
I felt the pain, and I then saw the finger pressing on the temple.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you. Alison,
Mhm.
you and Adele are going to get banned if you both got loads and loads of times.
Okay, so I also got, this was a feeling, a headache in the front part of my head, heavy over the eyes, pressure. That was physical feeling. And then I got a quick message that said, and don't forget about the right-hand side of your jaw.
Okay.
Mm.
And did you get anything with that?
It was just don't forget about the left-hand side of your jaw. That was the came straight in at the end. And also
Left side of the jaw or the right?
sorry, right side.
Yeah, I
right
thought you
jaw.
said right. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And then
So-
the last one, so you don't have to come around again. It's on my left hand. My little finger and my next finger feel really stiff, like they're stuck together.
Okay.
Just really, really stiff.
Mm.
And that's my lot. Oh, your pelvis is good. I said, can we have a positive, please?
Okay. Interesting. Loving this. So Shayla, we're to you, my lovely.
We've all got lists, so I'll give you the last. I just have a couple more. So I was drawn, like the shoulder blade, drawn by an energy to the lower right side where it seemed like it was around your hip. And that was accompanied with the red. It's as if it goes black and white tones, and then the red is highlighted. So it feels like a target. So that was there too. And then
Where
that
did
was
the red highlight?
It was, so you know where the dimples are on the back of the hips?
Mm-hmm.
It would be, it seemed like it was near that area, right in
Okay.
there on the right side. Saw it in the back. And
Okay.
along with that, there was a little video of you walking along and you had a limp. and it and it looked like you were coming down harder on the right side. And I only had
Okay.
one more thing after that. If I
So
should just give
just give me what you've got there. Did you say
okay,
you
and
had
last
did you
one,
say you
yeah.
had one more thing? Yeah.
This one was I actually felt it physically, and as if I was feeling this way. I started feeling like I was short of breath, like I started breathing heavily. And this was when I was doing seeing the little movie of you, and you started breathing heavily. It felt like, and I watched you do that, but I was feeling that, like trying to catch my breath.
Okay, thank you. And not thank you. Adele, have you got anything else left on your list? Is there anything else you want to annihilate me with?
The same as Alison, headaches, and pressure on your head. And I picked up you haven't been drinking enough water, you haven't been drinking the amount of water that you normally do. And detox, you haven't detoxed either. What you normally do. That's why you got all this stuff in your stomach. That's why you feel really heavy and
Okay. Is that enough? Is there anything else? I'm scared to ask. Just call the ambulance with a little blue light.
Yeah.
That would be good. Okay, right. Let me give you feedback as quickly as I can without shortchanging you all. So I think all did amazingly well, especially Diana, who is not feeling 100% and having the same concentration as normal. What I'm really loving is can you all see and listening to each other the different ways we can all receive information around body scanning. So Adele, I've already made comment on yours. You're clearly just everything's pulling in together and working together as one big whole unit for you. Alison, you've got a real combination of physical feeling now. Knowing is your strongest tool in your day-to-day work. You just know stuff when you're doing your communication with animals, but in your body scanning, that physical feeling is really strong as well. So they're working together. So I love that you're getting that additional communication work coming through in your body scanning. And the more, this is for everyone, the more we do this, the more tools we're able to apply. Shayla, as I've mentioned before, your symbology is showing up really strongly. So it's remembering to say to your client that this could be a metaphor for something else or represent something else. But you also seem to have quite strong energetic pulls. You can get some physical sensation in there with the breath. So you've got kind of 3 different things that are going on in your body scanner. I'm loving this red light. I think that's going to be your key piece. Show me where with the red lights. Where you'll see in one of the videos, I can't remember which video it is, but it's actually didn't come out as well as I'd hoped it would, but it's an X-ray with red down the top of the dog's neck. So that's what yours is showing like. So it's like you're getting the red where the area of pain or discomfort or dis-ease is showing up. So I think that potentially could be a really powerful weapon for you in your body scanning work. Adele, we've already covered. And Diana, you've got that strong pull where you're not being pulled into the client's body, but the client's body, your body is pulling from the client the pieces that you're meant to work with or the areas that you're meant to go. So that came up quite strongly for you in both of those pieces that you shared. And Norma, your physical sensation is your strongest tool, and you did get some imagery with the finger as well. So well done, all of you, on how you're doing your body scanning. There's no right or wrong or best way to do this work. There's no good way, bad way, best way, better way, worse way. There just isn't. And if you are only working with one tool, if that's your strongest tool, then that's all you need. So it's just how each of you work. Just remember, there's no good or better way to do it. There's just your way. And if you perfect your way, that's always going to be the best way for you. Right, let's give you a lowdown on all the symptoms. So first off, it's interesting that a few of you said headaches, tension in the head. I don't get headaches. I don't ever get headaches. The only time in my life where I've had headaches is when I've had proper flu, not a bad cold, but proper flu. You just turn your head and you think your head's going to explode. I don't get headaches. It's not something that I suffer from at all. So if you're working with a client and your client said, oh no, I never get headaches, then you're going to think that you've got it wrong. But I have a busy head. So I just invite you to think outside the box for your client, because it would look on the surface that your information is wrong. Excuse me, but I know what my head's like. So I have a busy head. So just be aware that if your client says, no, don't get headaches, then you might say, well, I remember working with a client before, this came up, and she actually had quite a busy head. So would it be fair to say that you've got a busy head? And maybe you don't experience, oh, this is what's come to me right now. This is what, oh, I love this. Oh my God, you're going to laugh. You might not have a physical headache, but your head is aching with what's inside. That's what I think that's the message is. Excuse me. That just came to me there. It's like, that's it. My head hurts. I don't hurt, but my head is hurting with all the stuff in my head.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be spot on. So this is where we want to think outside the box for our clients, when our clients just say, no, I never get headaches, because I don't get headaches. And I don't get headaches, I believe. I don't get hangovers either. I don't really drink much now, but my younger days, don't get hangovers. Like, if I went through what my friends go through on the morning after, I just know that I wouldn't drink again, because I could not be bothered with that. But I believe that I don't get headaches and I don't get hangovers because I drink lots and lots of water. This is hot water and lemon in here. I've measured it. I drink about 4 liters of water a day. That's a lot of water, more than most people. And it's when I've done the body ratio, because I was worried for a spell that I was drinking too much. So I drink more than the body ratio. But Adele, you're right. I'm not drinking, or certainly yesterday to today, I'm finding it difficult to get my normal water quota on a Monday. So that naturally moves into a Tuesday, because when you sleep, you lose, you dehydrate when you sleep. So I think that's why I don't get headaches. Saying that, Norma, you said about the pressing the finger. I have no awareness of anything like that going on in my head. But when you said it, I felt it then, and I'm feeling it now as I'm speaking. this tiny little pressure just in here, so that is actually spot on. I didn't even know it was there, and I'm feeling it now, and I felt it when you said. So the pressure that some of you are feeling, I've had this cold and the mucus on the chest, so I've had this cold for maybe about a week. I was listening to something, popped up that I needed to check, and it was a Facebook Live the weekly power training last week, and just thought, I can hear that nasalness in my nose. I don't think it was deadly obvious to everybody else, but last week I really struggled with runny nose, and it's still not clear, and I'm now at that horrible, yucky phase that you picked up, Alison. So that's what I believe you're picking up there. I'm not bothered with sinusitis or anything like that, but I have had runny nose, blocked nose, back to runny nose. So I'm in that place. So well done there. The jaw, this is interesting. I've been noticing I noticed it first when I was seeing the chiropractor, and I said to her that there's something with my neck. It doesn't feel like the position's right. So we did adjustments to get that right. And I noticed when I'm driving, I want to reposition the neck. And I think that's what you're picking up, Alison. And I noticed it today. It's like that neck thing. Most people, their heads are down too much on their phone. That I'm not really on my phone a lot in that way. So I don't have that down your phone thing. It's like I hold my head slightly too far back and I need to bring it down a little bit, the opposite to everybody else. I think that's what you were picking up there. For those of you that got shoulder blades, I don't have pain, or certainly not today, I don't have pain in my shoulders, but I do tend to have discomfort in both my shoulders. I'm trying to think. I think my right one's slightly worse, and that's because I swim. So I swim a lot, so I have that from doing the crawl. So I usually swim about 5 times a week. So I've not been swimming because I've had cold, so I'm not feeling it in my shoulders. But that shoulder blade tension, that definitely comes. That's there. That's real. I have that from swimming, and that's also where we can hold a lot of tension too. So well done there. Let's go to, let's just kick Adele's one right out the park, because this is just going to deal with everybody's, I think. So the knees, not walking as much as normal, not eating the way that I normally would, spending too much time indoors, not getting enough fresh air, not drinking enough. So all of those things were not enough things, but they're all absolutely spot on. They're all spot on. And I said to my husband, was it last week? I think it was last Sunday. And I said to him, I'm just not getting out of the house enough. Like, I'm not getting out enough. Like, I walk most days and I swim most days. Sometimes I'll do both on the same day, but if I don't swim, I walk. So I've always got swimming or walking in before I come to work, always. And I'd said last week, I need to get back to the gym. I need to be moving my body more. And my body was telling me I needed to move more. So I hadn't been at the gym for a while. So I went to the gym last week. I think I was there twice. And then this cold started. So I wasn't going to go swimming with the cold. And we've had snow and ice here. So I didn't really want to go walking in the snow and ice. That doesn't normally put me off. But that brings me to Shayla's point, because you saw an image of me walking with a limp. So I am currently walking with a limp, or I try very hard not to walk with a limp. So I have a walking stick. So I didn't want to go out in the snow and the ice with my stick. So I've been using the stick for about a year. So, and that comes from my hips. So I think, Shayla, you said about the hip. You mentioned the right hip, the left hip. Now, this is a really good one for your practice, everyone. For your work, your body scanning work. So what you said was true, but I only know that because I've had x-rays and MRIs done. I don't have pain from my right hip. I have pain from my left hip. So your client might say, no, you're wrong. It's the left hip, not the right hip. But actually there's degeneration in both hips. But I'm not bothered by the right. Probably because the left would mask anything that the right was giving me as well. So just be mindful of that when your clients say, oh no, you've got it wrong, it's this side. It doesn't mean that there isn't anything going on there. It might mean that they're just not just feeling it on that physical level yet. So coming back to Adele. So all of that is absolutely right. And so I just started to get back on track last week, making sure I was getting back out walking every day or swimming or to the gym. And then I was hit with this cold. So I've not been doing that. I have been trying to get out for a walk, but it's not every day. And at the weekend, I think I was meant to meet a friend on Friday, and I just thought I don't want to risk, even though I was starting to feel better, I didn't want to risk giving her anything because she runs a nursery and I didn't want all the kids to be infected. And I picked it up from my grandson's nursery, so I didn't want to reinfect. So, and I said to my son, oh my God, I haven't been out all day today. So yeah, that realization that I've been indoors too much this past week. So all of that was absolutely spot on. And the stomach, absolutely. So I do have issues with my stomach. And although I haven't been eating takeaways or anything like that, I have been eating food that I know isn't good for me. So I've just been, so like Monday's quite a difficult day. And normally, this is the interesting bit, normally on a Monday, I would do a detox because Monday's a really busy day for me. It's like a super busy day. And so I can be at 6 o'clock before I've even thought about eating. I don't generally eat until lunchtime anyway. So if I've missed lunch, then it's dinner time. And because I do yoga at night, I can't eat for an hour before I go to yoga. So by the time I get back from yoga, it's 9:30 at night. And if I don't eat anything, and I would eat if I was hungry, but if I wasn't hungry, then I wouldn't eat. And then that gives me a 24-hour detox for my body. And I've not been doing that for about a month because my Monday routine has changed. So you're absolutely spot on. And I said to my family, I said, my body needs a detox. I don't have the willpower for it just now. And I wouldn't do that kind of detox if I wasn't feeling well. That's not fair on my body. And I just want to eat chocolate. So I've been eating chocolate and crisps, and I don't normally eat crisps. That's not my kind of thing. And I've been eating lots of bread. It's gluten-free because I eat gluten-free, but it's too much. It's too much. So it might be gluten-free and it might be dairy-free and it might be all of those things that tick the boxes, but it's just been too much. So you're absolutely right. And I'm not having you body scan me again because I'm getting lots of little rows here. But you're spot on. In all seriousness, you're absolutely spot on there. So connecting that to what Sheila said with the racetrack and the tummy and the green, something's just come to me, but I really don't want to think about it. I've not been putting any focus or attention on it very deliberately, but something's just come to me. So the racetrack in the belly. So people in the medical know-how would talk about the stomach being the second brain. So people that have an interest in the energetics of food and all that kind of stuff talk about the stomach being second brain. So this racetrack, the racetrack makes sense to me in there. And when my tummy is under duress or my digestive system is under duress as it is just now, then it's having to work extra hard to deal with the food that I'm eating. So that makes sense to me, in terms of that racetrack. But last night, I got home earlier than normal, but it was still late. It was about 8:30, 8:45, and I wasn't hungry, but I wanted to give my body something. So I've been kind of running around, and so I thought I'll just have a quick sandwich. So I made myself this most delicious sandwich with my gluten-free bread and all the rest of it. And there was one slice of bread and the two ends of the loaf, and one was thick and one was thin. I thought I'll leave the thick one for toasting, and I'll have nice thick piece of bread toasted. I'll just anyway. I sat down and I did this in the dim light of the cabin lights in the kitchen. Sat down, took a bite of my sandwich, and it had goat's cheese on it and had olives and really nice rocket. I mean, it was a really nice sandwich. And I took a bite of it and I just thought, oh, that doesn't taste right like that. It's like cheese off. Like, no, it's not cheese. Luckily, I didn't take another bite of it because I switched the full light on instead of just the lamps. And the bread was moldy. The heel end slice was fine. Didn't eat any of it. but it was green. It was like, honestly, disgusting. Like I was wanting to be sick. I don't get the whole anorexia thing because I can't make myself sick, but if I could have, I would, because I just wanted that. It was one bite, but I just wanted it out of my system. And part of me wanted to go and Google, because the gut thing is about, bacteria in the gut, and there's too much of the not good bacteria, and everything's moldy in the gut. So it's like, oh my God,
Indeed.
I'm eating bread. It's like, don't put your attention there, Sarah Jane. Don't put your attention there. So doing that whole thing last night, but it's just come to me right now. And I said to my husband, look, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, how did I not see that in the kitchen? Like, it's because I don't eat a lot of bread, but I have done this past week. But I got really nice bread from Marks and Spencer's, do a really nice gluten-free loaf. So I'd got that there. So my normal bread had sat for longer than it normally would. But I checked the slice. It was the first thing I did. And it was fine. I never thought to check the healing. Anyway, so yeah, green, that just came to me. Green racetrack. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Cancel, cancel, cancel all of that. Sending love and light to all the healthy bacteria in my gut. Yeah, that was a moment last night for sure. So the breathing heavily. I don't have a problem with my breath or my breathing, but I have noticed sometimes it feels like a harder labor when I've not been, not doing what I used to do. This is somebody that would run bloody miles and miles and miles every morning before breakfast. And sometimes going for a walk can have me breathing that a little bit harder. So let's see. So the for those of you that got the lower abdomen, that fits for me with the digestion. And interesting you should say hormonal stuff, Diana, because I said to my daughter last week, when I get to this place in my life where I'm ready to do time for the people that I share my home with, when I'm ready to go at the pleasure of Her Majesty's service and do time for them, that's usually, like, when I'm in that hormonal place. But I've not had a period for nearly a year. I've had one period in just over a year. So I said to my daughter, I'm in that place. So if I was still menstruating, I would have had a period, but I haven't, I'm clearly in that moving into that menopausal time. But yeah, I said that to my daughter last week. So yeah, you were spot on with the hormones. And sensitive gums. Now, Norma, I liked how you came in and said not all of the teeth, maybe around the incisor. So I do have a sensitive issue with the right, above the right incisor. So I do need to be careful when I'm brushing that. So I think that was everybody. Oh, the rivers of blue and the thunder. Yeah, I love that as well. So I've been doing some really been doing some different meditations, or I've been doing meditations in a different way for the last 3 weeks. And I've been using symbology through all of the chakras. And the one that I was using at the heart was like blue, and it's sacral as well, like blue rivers. That's why I said I didn't know if I'd heard rivers or ribbons. So I've been using a blue river for flow to symbolize flow. So I love that you saw that blue river, and then the thundercloud in the distant brewing or past. I think it's both. I've been doing a lot of clearing out this past year in lots of different areas, at work, at home, friendships. I've been really clearing out what isn't serving me anymore. And some of that's been hard. And I think that's what the thundercloud is. And that, just with that blue river flow, that thundercloud makes sense to me, because that's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on keeping the flow, and what do I need to let go of? What's the dark stuff that's either holding me back, not helping me move forward, or just doesn't have a place in my life anymore? Does that make sense in terms of how you saw that? So that's how that makes sense to me anyway. So well done, everyone. You were all amazing. that was a lot of stuff, wasn't it?
Mm.
So well done. And I love how your stuff's coming through. So are you all feeling that you've got a good handle on how the information predominantly comes through for you in your body scanning? Is that feeling good after this experience?
Mm.
And Sheila, you made a face that I couldn't quite pinpoint when I said you were going to be body scanning, get opportunities to practice with me. You kind of went, or something like that. How does that feel now? Can I check in with the face that you had before as to the face that you have now, or how you're feeling about it now?
Yep, better. I'm just, it's gonna be a going with the flow thing again. It's the there's a different method, it seems, for emotional, physical, spiritual. So I just have to let it go, let go of the control, and just let it be.
Yeah.
Feel
And
better.
the thing is, you might just intuit that it's physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, and like Adele, that's why I was really hard on you, saying like, how is that coming through? So I could really get a feel for, is it all just knowing? Because if it's all just knowing, then you just know it, you don't need to question it. But you were having that blend of being drawn in, or maybe physically feeling something, and then just knowing that I wasn't doing the things that I normally would be doing for myself. And I noticed that lapse a week ago, started to put everything in place on Monday, and then hit with this cold. So you're absolutely right. I haven't been able to continue those self-care practices that I do for myself. So it's just understanding how that comes through. So I love how that's worked for you. So just quickly checking in, is everybody else feeling okay about how it's coming in? And are you ready for your first body scanning case for those that are ready to go on? No, so why not? Let's do a quick round robin and let's get this tidied up before I go on to US time. on a class that's on US time. I don't even know when it finishes. So Alison, are you not feeling confident, or are you just not feeling sure, or?
I'm not sure how we go about it, if that makes sense. So we've got a referral form, which I haven't looked at. Is it the same as the behaviour one, or is it a completely different one?
It's very, very similar. It just doesn't have the outline, the behaviour. It's like outline the health.
So if they say to you, my dog has got a sore leg, where do you go from there? They know it's got a sore leg.
So you just want to do what you did here with me and ask questions. When did this happen? What helps it? What makes it worse? Is there anything that will aid your comfort? Are you on medication? What is the pain score when you're on medication? What is your pain score if you're off medication? Just the diving down, the digging down.
Okay.
Just want to get as much detail as you possibly can.
Okay. But we're not going to be able to resolve, are we? Anything.
This is more fact finding. And
Right.
this is why when there's the video that I think I've called it the ethical approach to body scanning,
Right.
our job is to really hone in on the symptoms and then pass that over, so that we're either supporting the guardian to make decisions, or we're supporting the guardian to take information to the vet, the chiropractor, whoever else might be involved in that animal's care. But our role is really to focus on the symptoms. But part of our job with any cases is to then be asking if there's anything else that we could be doing. Is there anything else that you need or could support you? And then we can help or bring a level of resolution by offering that to the guardian.
So I suppose if they sort of said, my dog's off colour, you could sort of dig deep, really deep into that then, couldn't you? But if they give you the facts, it's harder.
Well, not really. I had a dog here in my treatment room. I'd worked with him before, and worked with him lots, actually, still work with him. And I know that he's got a leg issue. Like, I know there's a leg issue. There's been a leg issue for years and years. And when I was doing a therapy treatment on him, that's why he was here, I was doing the hands-on treatment with him, and he kept showing me this image of him being stookied up in a hospital bed, like an old, the old-fashioned, like, Carry-On movies here in the UK. They're these kind of where the legs up on a, it's up. That's what he was showing me. Now, he's a dog. That doesn't make any sense. I knew it was a metaphor for the leg, and I'm thinking, is it broken? but he's walking and whatever. So my job then was to dig down into, what does that mean? I already know there's an issue with the leg, but there's clearly something he's trying to share about this leg. And what we did was we got to a place of understanding what support he needed for that leg. So he needed more cushioning in his bed. So that was all put in place for him. The making sure there was extra padding to really support that leg. And I think it was maybe 2 weeks later, it broke. The leg broke. Now, I wouldn't, even on that experience, I wouldn't be saying to a client, well, this is a premonition, clairvoyance, I'm seeing the future, your dog's leg's going to break. But what I would be saying is, this happened to me before, and the bone was much more fragile than anybody realised. And that dog had the best veterinary care you could imagine. That dog has wanted for nothing around that leg. But it broke, and then it came off. Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. But that, I believe, was his way of letting me know. Now, did he know that it was going to break? Maybe. I don't know. But ultimately, I believe that was his way of saying, I believe this bone's going to break.
Yeah.
Like, this bone is not feeling strong anymore. So even when we know that there's an issue, we can still dig down. What do you need now if things changed? So I knew that had changed from when I last worked with him. So we put the extra support in place, and we limited his jumping up and down off the sofa. Those kind of practical things.
Okay, yep, understood now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Is that everybody's questions? Oh, Sheila?
So, okay, so we will basically be sending in a transcribe just like before, and following what happens. Do you also need, will we be giving you the pain scores sheet?
Yes, I want you to do, I want you to do pain scores. I'm redoing the video on pain scores, so that'll be up. I know that it's listed in what I've described already, but I'm going to do a separate video on pain scores for you. I had actually hoped to do that later today. I forgot I was on this US time thing today. So pain scores are basically, when they take you to an area of pain or discomfort, can you score that out of 10 for me? 0 being no pain, 10 being the worst. And you get them to score it. Watch what your own body does, just in case it's different from, the animal might say 2. And then you're feeling like it's 6. That's usually, if there's a difference, that's usually how it plays out for me, the animals that I've worked with. But I have seen students work with, one was working with a cat who scaled it at 8, but she felt in her body it was a 2. I'd never seen that before. But when she said to the Guardian, the Guardian's words were, oh, she's a right drama queen, that one. Proper princess. So that made complete sense to the Guardian, that the cat was scoring it as an 8 out of 10, but the practitioner was feeling it as a 2. This pain scores, where they're helpful, is to create something measurable for your client. What's important is you're reminding them that that's just the score on that day. And you can also be asking, does this change? That's one of the other things that you can be asking as well. Does this change? Now you've got the body scan results template up there. I'm making a change to that. It's not going to be, the detail is not going to be any different. I'm just going to change the layout. So I'm going to put it into a box. It's not in a box at the moment, but I'm going to box that off, but the core stuff is there. It's the same. So those are the kind of questions. Is this an intermittent pain? Is it every day? What's the score? Is that just today? Is it better on meds, off meds? Does that make a difference? Does it impact your sleep? Does it impact your mobility? Does it impact your mood? These are all the things that you can really dig down on with your body scanning. So your questioning is always coming in there as well. Does that answer that for you, Sheila?
Yes, and I also just wanted to make sure, basically, when we submit what we're going to be turning into, like, do we need
exactly what you've done before? This transcribe. You write this up in the transcribe so I can see what questions you're asking. Now, if you've done the merging body scan, then you're not going to write, I went into the top of it. You don't need to do any of that. You just say, I did the 2 becomes 1 exercise, and then you just list your results. That's it. You just list your results for me. The body scanning results template, you don't have to use that. It's just another option. It's a way to record your results. You can give it to your client, or you can choose not to use it. You can practice with your body scanning and sharing the information in as many different ways as you like until you find the way that feels best and right for you. That's just one way to record it. So I wanted to make sure that you had that, but it's just one way to do it. I used to do it like that in the old days. I don't anymore. But it's good for while you're building your confidence and making sure, and not everything on that little template will be applicable. So you just delete what doesn't apply, what isn't relevant to your particular case. Okay. So everyone, you're going to do great. You're going to smash it. You're going to smash it. And for those of you that have still got behaviour cases to send in, just keep focusing on that just now. Just keep focusing on that. And it's all going to be grand. It's all going to work out great. And just from what you've all done here today, I have no worries. No worries. And Diana, I know that your concentration isn't what it normally is, but I've seen your body scanning work before. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried for any of you. Not worried for any of you at all. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Do you not think you all did amazing today? Like, do you not think that you did really well? Right, as uncomfortable as this is my last question to you. As uncomfortable as this, give me a thumbs up if you were pleasantly surprised by how you did in the body scanning with me today. Good, good, good. Norma. Okay. So if you're feeling a bit like that, just a little bit more practice to build your confidence in yourself. I think you all did really, really well. I think you all did really well. And you're being really hard on yourself if you think you can't go out and do this tomorrow with an animal. You'll probably find doing it with an animal easier because you'll have that two-way conversation. You didn't have that with me. You're just working directly with my energy. I'm not having I have no awareness of having a conversation with you. So if you had communication back, you had that back directly from my energy field. So if you can do that, then doing it with an animal is going to be even easier. Even easier. Okay? So go out, do your stuff, rock it like you always do. And I cannot wait to see your health studies come in and see how you got on and how we can take them to the next level. You know what to do. And if you get stuck or you need any additional support or guidance, you just reach out to me. Don't stay stuck. Okay. Right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for your time. All did amazing.
Bye.
So proud of you all. You take care, Diana. Keep nursing that heart of yours. Bye, everyone.